Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thoughts and Prayers episode on How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
Yeah, no number, unlike the last sequel that had a number.
Or,
What happened to the number?
yeah, I don't know. But,
Consistency. That's all I ask for, DreamWorks. And for you to hire me because I love your movies.
yeah. So, I'm Steven.
I'm Lucas, and I'm a little sick today.
Yeah.
And so you hear my voice. It's not because I'm not enthusiastic about talking, it's because I have a sore throat, but the show must go on.
Yep. That's what they have told us.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury, rest
Yeah.
in peace. Everybody misses you.
I always think about, like on the side note, like, what would it be like if he was still alive today? Um, and I think better. It would be
The
better.
world would be a better
Yeah.
place.
But we'll never know, I guess. Sadly, Lady AIDS is a cruel, cruel, cruel mistress.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah. Side note, let's go. Or let's off of that tangent, miss you, Freddy. But back to How to Train Your Dragon,
The
The
hidden
Hidden World.
world.
Yep.
So just this is the
Spoiler-free section.
spoiler-free
Yep.
section. This is the third and epic conclusion according to the trailer of the
Epic.
trilogy of the How to Train Your Dragon movies. Your brief history with the franchise. Did
Um.
you know the first one came out in 2010? Like it's been 9 years.
Yeah.
Like wow,
You want to know an interesting
how time
story?
flies. Yeah.
So the first How to Train Your Dragon came out like I think similarly around the same time that I got my black belt in karate, and we
Okay.
we were at our like black belt like banquet dinner or whatever, and we were leaving. And like it was like I don't know like 5 or 6 or something like that on a Saturday, and it was like it's kind of early. I was like, hey mom, you want to go do something? She's like, yeah. You want to go watch How to Train Your Dragon? She's like, sure. And
Sounds
so
stupid.
yep, and we did, and it was good. It was pretty good,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Uh, I was
9 years ago.
lucky enough to see all the movies in 3D, and honestly, I think this is my favorite franchise when it comes to 3D movies.
So
They all
good.
look fantastic. Sadly, today we didn't see it on IMAX because they're still playing Alita Battle Angel. I would have
Yeah.
loved to see this
I might
movie in
go
IMAX.
back. I might take my girlfriend and just go watch it in IMAX because this
Yeah, I
is
think it's worth it because this movie looks gorgeous, and I
oh my
also
god, yeah.
like something I've always liked the character design. I mean, it's very cartoony, but it's better than when it's just the same face on different bodies. I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone's really distinct. We got a great cast of characters, I think. Uh, Something personal, like the other teenagers around Hiccup, like the ones that grew up with him. Like if I were Hiccup, I'd be going mad because everyone's so stupid. Like
I think
all the
about that a
supporting
lot. Yeah, they
characters are like so dumb,
but I don't
but
know
like
how
they're
they get
comedic.
that
They're
way.
comedic, but it's like they wouldn't be my friends. They're so stupid.
Are they his friends or are they his subordinates?
They're just I don't know what they are. I mean, but
They're
like
the
Jonah
best he's
Hill.
got,
Yeah, they're the
but
best he's got.
yeah.
But Jonah Hill, he's got a long arc about wanting to hit on Hiccup's mom. That's beautiful.
She's kind of into it. I they don't the movie kind of leaves it at like that's a spoiler, I guess.
It's
It's
not
kind of
that big.
ambiguous. But
The relationship between the Jonah Hill character and the mom.
cuz he's like hit her son's age. So like no judgments, a little bit it's not a little bit of judgment, but just like I don't know. It felt
Oh yeah,
weird cuz she has this sort of like older, wiser like presence,
yeah,
and to see this like younger, like sort of immature person like hitting on her, and then her like not technically like being like, it was just like I was not expecting that at all from this movie. So that's a little. It's not bad. It's just
yeah.
like kind of weird.
I guess
Yeah.
like a spoiler-free synopsis is that the town of Burke. That's the name of the Viking town,
Yep.
and which is Vikings and dragons. They live in harmony, but the villagers, led by Hiccup, they continue freeing more dragons from dragon. Uh, well, not hunters, but they're more like what do you call people? Merchants, I guess.
Like
They smuggle dragons basically, and so
the other
they
ones, like the four people, like those dudes that aren't the
yeah,
main
they're like
villain.
dragon smugglers.
I think they're like the other kings or like of the other like areas, like conquerors is what the main baddie called them. And I think I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure like at one point in the other movies, like they show them like at a table and they're all talking,
Mm-hmm.
like all the chieftains or something. I don't. I feel like we might have seen them before, but they were just minor characters in that, and they're still minor characters in this
Sure.
movie, but they have more of a presence.
Yeah.
Um, I don't
And
remember exactly, but sorry, continue.
well, there's and everything changes when the smugglers or the leaders of another villages they want to take all the dragons from Burke, and to do that they hire this dragon hunter who killed all the night furies, and he's using a light fury as bait, which that confused you, like, and I guess you confused me as to whether night furies and light furies are the exact same breed or they're just compatible. Like,
Well, they do the
like
same
is it the
things,
is
technically.
it male and female, or is it like, like variations on a breed or whatever?
Well, based on a certain thing in the movie, which we'll get to later. I think they're technically different, but
Okay,
that's like a super
I don't think so.
technicality. It's not like you don't think so.
I was weird. Well, not weird out, but I was surprised they never named the Light Fury. I guess.
Well, it's like it is wild, so like it's kind of a like
I guess.
they never like tame it or anything. They don't nobody
Sure, sure,
flies
sure.
it, and even in oh my god, but like I'm sort of trying to jump to spoilers, but I don't know. I think I think this movie is so pretty that I'm willing to like overlook certain things. Like I remember like watching it and being like, if this wasn't so like pretty to look at, I don't know if I would be enjoying this movie as much. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like animation is because there's something to look at that's just like super just gorgeous, but it doesn't have to be amazing like story wise. And I think like this movie is kind of wow, my stomach is making all kinds of noises. Sorry if y'all can hear that, but basically, like this one to me is not as good as two. I'll say that.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to remember the plot of the other movies. Uh, they're just like you say. I feel like the visuals are super strong that they are able to carry the movies, and the characters are all likable. The voice acting
Oh
is
yeah,
really good. Like, honestly, seeing this movie, I'm like, I don't know who else you could get to like voice Hiccup or any of the other characters. They're just so on point, I think, in all of their performances. And so, but the story, like, sometimes, like it becomes hazy at times, I guess, because like the moments I remember most from the other two movies were the sacrifices that took place.
yeah.
uh and in this movie, I mean, it's pretty fresh, but I don't know if it's gonna become lost like the other ones,
I think it
or
will because I think something that these movies all suffer from is that like they're good and enjoyable, but I don't have they don't stay with you. Like when I watched Kubo and the Two Strings, like I was losing my mind at how like pretty that movie was, but like I remember that movie fairly well. And like or let's say like Coco, I'll never forget it. Like I like that movie made me like it brought me to tears at like that at that one part that everyone knows where
Mhm.
everyone starts crying. And also I'll never forget that stupid Frozen Christmas stupid
Oh, the 20 minutes
yeah
short.
it was not it was 24 or 5 minutes and I was like this is painful
Oh
Disney.
yeah.
I'll never forgive you for that. But anyways, I'll never forget that either. And like these movies they just float over your head, honestly. And I feel so bad because they're so cinematic. Like
Yeah.
it's
I
incredible.
mean, this movie features like two long silent sequences between the dragons.
Yeah,
No dialogue. It's all physical body language, and
it's really well done
they're
and it's
really,
great.
really well done.
I'll forget it. I think actually those two scenes I don't think I will, but like the whole movie, like another like sort of non-spoiler like critique I had of this movie is that it kind of suffers from the same thing that um like Alita sort of suffers from, and that they try to like they're like, oh, okay, let's just end it really quickly. Like,
Oh yeah, the ending was kind of rushed. I
yeah,
think okay, uh, if you know anything about me, a villain makes your movie a lot of time, and the moment this bad guy, voiced by F. Murray Abraham, I think, um,
no clue.
he played Salieri in Amadeus, um,
No idea.
in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Never saw it.
Okay, whatever.
Don't like
Uh,
not.
you
Don't
don't
like
know
listening
this
to stuff.
man, Academy Award winner. But whatever. What I'm saying. Uh, the moment he dropped in the trailer, I'm gonna destroy everything you love. I was like, oh no, not that kind of villain. Like I don't know.
What you
He
mean you
seemed
don't like
very
that
generic.
same line that every villain ever has dropped?
Nope.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that he's a bad character. He's just so painfully generic. Honestly, I thought like there was gonna be a twist reveal that he's got a more personal connection, because there were some like interesting, I don't know, like
they talk
lines
about it.
delivered.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it seems like he knew Hiccup's dad. It seems that he lived in Burke as well. But like, they reveal his motivation. It's like, oh yeah, everybody praised me for the first time I killed a Night Fury, so I kept doing
by
it
the way,
until I
we're getting
killed
to like
all of them.
pseudo spoilers right now.
Kind of.
But yeah,
I don't think this affects much of the plot.
it does it. But
Like honestly, like
yeah,
I feel it's just the ending what you mean.
yeah.
Uh,
I was kind of hoping for more of him when he was like, so they talk about that scene like, or talk about that happening, like him killing, and I was hoping that maybe like we saw him when he was younger, and maybe like a Night Fury like killed one of his family members or like injured one of them or something. Like there was more of a motivation other than like the town was scared of this Night Fury.
yeah,
Because a kid killing one of these seems really significant. Because like if you watch the first movie, they're like no one's ever even seen one. You know, like you just see it fly by in the night,
yeah.
and like it shoot you, and then it's too late. You know, like so how did this kid do it? They don't tell you. They just and it's I guess that's supposed to like hype up his level of hunter or like I guess his skills, but I would have liked to have seen something like that, and we didn't
Yeah,
get
like I
it.
thought there was gonna be a fake out as like that's not his real backstory, but no, it ended up being
Nope.
that
Yep.
simplistic. I mean,
His voice acting was good.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, but still, like I don't feel like he ever. Okay, I did feel there were stakes and threats to the dragons mainly. I never thought a human character was gonna die,
Because
although
they
that's
never
not
were supposed to. Because he wanted
sure.
to
Yeah,
rid the
he just
world to
wanted to
save
of
or
the
make it like
dragons.
make it safer for humans. So I guess he wasn't
Yeah.
interested in killing
Another
humans.
subplot was the marriage between Hiccup and Astrid. I mean,
There's a like
like in my mind, it's
yeah.
like, oh, I guess this is for like the 14-year-olds who saw the first movie 9 years ago. Like maybe they're now thinking about getting married and stuff.
Oh
Although
yeah,
they're like 23. I
yeah
don't
I
know.
was I think whatever. Wow, it was a
You were like
11.
11.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is taking me back. But
Existential crisis.
yeah, it's weird thinking about time. I don't like doing it, past or present. You know,
Or future.
you know what I found out the other day. Also, side note, speaking about the time, um, I was talking to this. I was talking to my girlfriend about that 22 song by Taylor Swift, and I was like, she wrote that song like 2 or 3 years ago or whatever, and I look it up, and it was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
She's like almost 30 now. I think she's turning 30 this year or something like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, what happened? This movie is a perfect example of like me, sort of like a franchise I grew up with, but somehow I don't remember. Like, and
Yeah.
I
Like
feel
it
so
leaves
bad.
an impact on you. Like in my brain, I'm like, wow, that movie looked so breathtaking, if that makes any
Th-
sense.
I would watch this movie for the visuals, purely for the visuals. Like, it is
How come you give this a
gorgeous.
pass and not a Alita? I mean,
Well,
I know because it's a different
this,
medium. Like honestly, I find it easier to suspend my disbelief for something that I know it's like a family picture.
yeah.
It's not like such a niche demographic. And honestly, I think I enjoy this more
Oh,
than
100. No,
Alita.
no. That's why I'm giving it a pass
Yeah,
too. I like this way more than Alita. Like, I mean, there's a plot in this movie, and like, there's a story,
it's
and
simple.
yeah, but they're going like they're doing stuff actively, like in the plot, like, and you can see like the steps they're taking, where they're going, like why they're doing certain things. But
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna get into spoilers, but like
sorry for
I'm
bumping the
gonna
mic.
ease into it because don't you feel like they're kind of wishy-washy with like some of the stuff? Like it wasn't the second movie. I'm trying to remember my best.
Dude, the second movie made me cry, by the way.
Well, yeah, with the
Yeah,
death of the father.
yeah.
Like I thought they were gonna hit that again, but okay. Speaking of the father being wishy-washy, in the first movie, he was kind of mean, and like in the second movie, they bring forth like his positive qualities.
They do at the
Like in
end
the
of the
first
first
movie,
one.
he's like a toxic masculinity kind of embodiment of toxic masculinity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
second movie, it's like, oh, I mean, yeah, he had his fair share of like bad stuff, but like in the end, he was a genuinely good father. But like now with and they bring him back in flashbacks. And I don't know, like I feel if we were to chronologically see this character, like if we were to compile all the scenes he's in this move in all of the movies, like they don't make a coherent, adhesive, like single character. Like
See,
I
like
feel like
I could
the
disagree
the
with that.
father, he was what every movie needed him to be, you know? Like in this movie he was
Okay.
very much like a carrier of the message of love and how important it is to love and let go,
Yeah.
which I don't think is coherent with his character in the previous two movies.
Okay. Well, I think so. I think you have two separate arguments there with the dad character. One, I think that I think that his character would make sense only because if you look at it like being a Viking is a super like masculine like macho kind of thing like for what he was in the first movie, I think at Hiccup's age in that movie he wanted him to sort of be like that but he wasn't, so that's why he kind of came off that way. But once he realized like Hiccup's strengths and his other like the other things that he could do other than just being like a brute essentially, he grew to like love him or not love him but like accept him for who he was. And I
Like
think
he's
so.
not he's brains, not
Yeah,
brawn.
yeah, and I think that translates from him being young, like, and his dad talking to him about love and things. But like when he gets older in the first movie, like he's
A
like,
teenager.
yeah, like he wants him to start, being more of like the chief, like who's going to like clear way, like a clear path to like him taking over, and he's not getting that based on like what he's like just working with the blacksmith and everything
Sure.
like that, and I think his character makes sense. Um, and I forgot that your second argument, like what you said that his character wouldn't track.
Yeah, like if we were to see all of his scenes in all three movies in chronological order, like it's like, no, that's not the same person.
I think like there's moments in the first movie where I think we're forgetting like he talks to him, and I think at one point he actually like sort of says something like kind of pretty hurtful to Hiccup. But also I think that you are correct in that every movie he is what they needed it to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Excuse me.
just like the message of this movie, like it's like the relationship of Hiccup and Toothless is all about loving and letting go, kind of like set
Yeah.
him free. Uh, when s- it was, I think I like this aspect because in the second movie and the first movie, even that it's all about coexistence, and how like Toothless couldn't fly without Hiccup, and
That's the
Toothless,
second movie.
well, yeah, yeah, and he
Oh yeah.
refused to have a prosthetic
Yeah.
that didn't require Hiccup. And in this movie, he gets that prosthetic so he can fly by himself. Like, I think I like that. It's not repeating the same message. It's like, well, because sometimes things fall apart, in the famous words of Chinua Achebe. But
No,
I
I.
don't know. Did you get that sense?
Oh
Like
no,
I
I
don't know.
did.
Like it's not that this is a complete antithesis of the previous movie, but it was just like even the movie calls itself out as like, hey, didn't he refuse to use that prosthetic? It's like, well, things changed.
See, I'm glad they
Like
said
that's
that because
all
I did not remember that.
you didn't.
I did not remember
Oh,
that
okay.
at all from the second one.
I mean, they reminded me when they said it, and I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Um,
I can't even like picture it. So that's like one of the things.
okay.
When they brought it up, I was like, oh, thank you for telling me that movie because I did not remember.
I guess before I forget, and I'll let you go off for a while because I've been talking too much. Uh, I gotta address the fact that this shares these like this movie's loaded with a lot of messages, and maybe that's why there's no single like the second one was all about the father son relationship, but even the mother relationship. Like that's why I thought it was like really emotionally powerful. This one has a lot of stuff because it's concluding the series basically. But like the other message
Maybe.
that was like, hey, I've seen this before recently was that Berk is not a place, Berk is a people. Thor Ragnarok March. Like I just hope that they
That's from
don't
other
get
things too.
swiped out by a purple man.
I think you might be nudging the thing a little bit
What?
with your like.
I don't think so.
It keeps like I'm not moving, so but yeah. Sorry, live stream. I'll cut this out in our audio version. So look us up on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play Music. But continue.
It's just that basically that it has the same message as Thor Ragnarok about letting go of the place and caring about the people.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I don't know, I feel like the these two movies are not that distant, but like I know the production for this movie started a long time ago. Uh I
yeah.
don't know, it just and you know, Thor is also very much about Viking mythology. So it's like, oh,
They
maybe that's
say that
just
Thor a lot too in the movie.
no, oh yeah,
Yeah,
they say like, oh, by Thor's
yeah.
whatever. Uh so that was interesting. Like maybe there's just something in underlying Norse mythology all about the importance of the people over the physical territory. I
It
don't
could
know.
be something with Vikings. Like they were
Well, they were
sort of
nomads, I
yeah, so
thought.
they would
Yeah.
just pick up and go, and like home was where they were. I mean, it makes sense. Like if you think about it like that. Um, I think I don't have like issues with like a lot of sort of themes coming from one movie, but like I wanted there to be a central one. I think it was like what the dad said, like to live and love, and then like there's you have to experience loss with love, but it's all worth it. I think that was a great message, and I really like the ending of this movie. I thought it was very nice, very like heartfelt. You like you didn't like it?
So okay, I feel like the stuff that resonated with me over the last two movies were the endings actually, because there was a real sense of loss and sacrifice.
Yeah.
So like okay, in the first movie, it may have been minimal, but like I thought it was like shocking as an 11-year-old when I watched this movie.
Oh yeah,
It's
me too.
like Hiccup lost his leg. Like he sacrificed his own himself and lost a leg. Like that's a big
Yeah.
sacrifice for like I don't know, was he like 13 or something in that movie?
He's very young.
He's very
I
young.
can't remember.
I was like, wow, that requires sacrifice. Great. And then the second movie, he loses his father, so it's like another big sacrifice, and
Yeah.
it was all like for the greater good or whatever. Like a lot of sacrifice. In this movie, I didn't feel much of a sacrifice. To be completely honest,
He
I
lost his best
felt,
friend.
but he got him back in the end.
Got him back. You mean you
They
saw him
reunite. They reunite.
personally? Okay, so I understand what you're like, how you feel about that. For me, I felt like they could have just organized a thing, or they hang out once a month or
I
something like
think they
that,
should have
or
gone
like
like what I liked about the previous two movies was like a kind of bitter sweetness to them,
yeah.
and also I don't remember the climaxes as well to be honest, but for this movie I felt that everything was kind of easy. Like I don't know if you
Oh,
agree
it
with
was
that.
very easy.
Like the final showdown was like okay, someone's gonna get killed because everything's going too smoothly, like very smoothly.
Just
Like
goes super smooth though.
I would have liked a little more hardship, to be honest. Like that's like struggle and tension.
I'm completely with you there. I felt that the final showed. Okay, so like it's six people maybe, and they have wingsuits, and there's like hundreds of ships, and those hundreds of ships do nothing. Like three of them get burned down or something. It's like I don't know what was happening because they didn't the other ships didn't do anything. They're still there. There's a shot in the movie where like you see like a clump of them burning, but then the rest of them are fine. They're still there. Like I don't know what happened to them. There's people on those ships. There's soldiers or whatever. They never say anything about that. Like as soon as they beat the main bad guy, like
The the battle is over.
yeah, like nobody cares. And it's like, really? Like you have a whole army. Like, but no, and another thing I don't like about this movie is that like the how you were talking about his friends from earlier being sort of incompetent or whatever and annoying a little bit. Uh, they are not like warriors to me.
Oh
Like
no.
they bother me that they're the best that Hiccup has because he says you're the best I've got. I'm like, No, they're not even the only ones you have." Like
You have an entire people.
yeah, like he has like so many people and he chooses these people. And one thing, okay. So one thing that is blatantly obvious in this movie, more so I think than the rest, is that T.J. Miller's character, that he no longer is, for whatever reason in this movie, has a way bigger role than any of the other
Right?
movies.
Yeah, that was like, I mean, I like his ongoing gag that he can't grow a beard, so
Yeah,
he just has his hair braids like on his facial area.
yeah,
Like I thought it was kind of funny.
it's fun.
Uh,
I just didn't think they would lean on it so much
right?
because if
You replaced a voice actor. Be-
yeah, and I don't know, it was just kind of jarring that to me it almost felt like they were sort of taking a shot at T.J. Miller by having that
This is
character.
what you refused in order to work on the Emoji Movie. Great
Well,
job, Bob.
no, also that, but I think he also called in like a threat on a train, like because somebody made him mad on that train, and I think he's in legal peril or something like that now. So he's sort of blacklisted, I think. If you haven't heard of that.
I did not know that.
Okay, so yeah, there's something else going on with TJ Miller other than like the Emoji Movie and all that other stuff. But yeah, I think this was kind of, it was just odd to me to see this character sort of take spotlight in a couple of scenes, or take the spotlight, so to speak. And it was a little odd because he's not really a big character in any of the other movies. Like he probably has more movies in or more lines in one of these scenes than he does in the entire other two movies. Like it was weird. And then there's another character who's from the second movie. I think he's voiced by James Cordone, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember. He's this other Viking guy with like a like chin beard or something,
Yeah.
and he does nothing in this movie. Like
No, he just looks cool and that's all. And
yeah,
like
he
he's
says a
kind of
couple
like a
lines
love rival to Jonah Hill because
in like the
for no
weirdest sense.
reason
Yeah,
really. Like he's just like, "Hey, you also want to bang Hiccup's mom, don't you?" And he's like, "No. Don't get on my turf." I was like, "Okay."
yeah. I mean, the movie is like I'm kind of nitpicking a lot because it's just okay, except for the visuals. I think this movie is very average in like basically every category. I like the ending personally a lot. I mean, I don't think it's a.
I don't dislike the ending. Well, no.
I would
I'm
have
kind
expected
of
more
I'm not
personally,
that
but it's
happy
fine.
on them reuniting. Like we get so
You're
they
not
separate.
really.
I mean, it would have been more powerful if it had been like Toy Story 3. But I'm pretty sure
I'm
that
not a
like
fan of Toy Story 3 personally.
the what?
I'm not a fan of that movie.
Whatever.
I
But
know.
like I'm
It's
pretty
a
sure
hot
like
take.
they consciously were like, no, if they just separate, it's just gonna be like Toy Story 3. So they probably consciously decided to, no, they gotta reunite in a time skip. Which, speaking of which, I went to this movie solely because in the first trailer that dropped, like one of the first images we get is Hiccup with a beard.
Yeah,
He looks so cool.
he does.
And I think that Jake Gyllenhaal should sue for DreamWorks stealing his likeness. That looks so much like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, okay, so you say that now, and I saw this like meme, and it was John Krasinski, and then like
Oh
Hiccup is
yeah.
Jim from The Office. I forget, but in with the beard, I forget who he is, but like they
Cra-
show like the whole like
Well, A
three.
Quiet Place.
I think he's a Quiet Place in I think he's the third one,
Yeah.
but it's like
Oh, and also his dragon scale suit is also pretty badass.
he has a dumbass. Okay, I'm
Like
sorry, I'm yelling or like I've swore, but his sword is
a
so
fire sword,
worthless.
and he never uses it.
No, 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 no,
Like,
no, no. He uses it,
he
but he doesn't.
tosses it.
Yeah,
He tosses
he
it
straight
to
up
create a
tosses it.
fire, but it's like you could have stabbed
You could have just swiped the
someone
fire
or
something.
something.
Also,
Like
he
I
has
don't
to
know, like
reload it. Like I think they do that in the second movie too. But he can run out of fire, and then it's
yeah,
just like like a wand essentially.
yeah, I don't know, like the fire sword. It looks cool. It
It's
doesn't do much.
intimidating, I guess.
Well, probably, but yeah, the dragon armor. Like,
Yeah.
have I ever showed you any Berserk?
No, no.
No. Oh,
But
it gave me. It reminded me of the Berserker armor, but much skinnier.
oh yeah.
But still, like it looked
Oh,
pretty
I
darn
thought it
cool.
was great. Like I don't, this the thing is so weird because like these movies are so well made. Like
Oh yeah.
they're just like I can appreciate this movie in like basically every other aspect other than the story of this movie for so like it's so good like visually, and it's just you can see that there's so much effort going into
Yeah.
all of it,
Even
and
the story, because I
it's
mean,
not
like
bad. It's just
even if like it's just it's a kids movie, like per se, and it doesn't like I don't mean that in any derogatory way. It's just like it has a lot of stuff going in on it, and like I'm not expecting like whiplash levels of intensity. I mean,
that
maybe.
last 10 minutes of Whiplash though, that is the single I think I might say it's like the best 10 minutes of a movie I've ever seen. Like it's so strong. The thing is I feel like we're never going to get that with like a third movie almost. Like we'll never get that same level of tension from any trilogy. Like I've always tried to like think back, and the endings of trilogies are typically super just like happy, like they're kind of like you think of like Lord of the Rings or like
Star
even The Hobbit,
Wars,
Star Wars, except for episode 3 if you think about that, but it still kind of ends happy cuz for
Back to the Future,
which I
Indiana
haven't seen.
Jones,
Also haven't finished that movie,
uh,
but yeah,
The Godfather. Ooh,
I haven't seen that one.
which I personally like to think of Godfather One and Two, and an epilogue. It's not that great.
Yeah. That's what I've heard, but like trilogies I feel like typically don't end super sad, and like or not even sad, but like they don't end particularly well. Like, I'm like Return of the King is a good example of a great movie, but it's like 30 minutes of ending. And like there's all those jokes about it online, but I think there is like 6 scenes like that are all like ending scenes or
Uh
something like
huh.
that. Like um that's still a great movie though. Like, it's so good. But I don't know. I kind of went into this movie with sort of low expectations, and visually, I was just like completely blown away. I think, well, you talked about like Spider-Man sort of upping the level of animation, but this one I think did a
It's
great
been
job of like,
yeah, like it was
like
consistent. Like
it's so cinematic that like because
yeah.
like Pixar movies they're beautiful and they're gorgeous, and they have like one or two maybe like sort of long like establishing shots of like where we are, but this movie had like huge skyboxes, like just massive open areas with like thousands of little dragons flying. Like there's a shot that you see in the trailer actually, which I wish wasn't in the trailer, but all these little like bioluminescent small tiny dragons are there, and they only have like 2 or 3 shots of this in the movie, and I get it because it was probably super annoying to make, but it's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
it's mind blowing to see how many things are moving on screen at the same time, and like it was just it. This movie to me sort of upped the game for 3D animation, the way that I think Spider-Man, like in the Spider-Verse, sort of did. Like, well, it's
I mean,
3D hybrid, right?
yeah, yeah.
But like it still looks more 2D. I think that like this is straight up a 3D. Like
But I feel like all three movies in this franchise, particularly, like they were always so
yeah,
cinematic with like breathtaking moments.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think they
that's
get
one.
enough credit though. Like nobody really talks about them. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, there should be more dialogue about it. Um, but definitely, like I think it's probably the most solid franchise that DreamWorks has at hand.
See,
Like,
people don't like Shrek 3, and I actually do. I hate Shrek 4. Shrek 4 is to me where they killed that franchise.
yeah, Shrek Four. I prefer Shrek the Third and Shrek Four, to be honest. Um,
You don't like either of those?
I mean, Shrek Two is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So, like anything after that, it's like you're not gonna top it.
I still
They
really I
didn't.
thought 3 was
No,
has its
three it
moments,
had its
but
moments, but like and four it was just like
dude, the stupid
I
I'll
don't
never
know.
forget the like where you blow in your ears and like their horns, and I was like, "Are you
No.
kidding me? Like what? What are we
And I
doing?"
mean, but honestly, like DreamWorks doesn't even have that many franchises. Like other than Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon, there's Kung Fu Panda, and I think that oh well, I guess Trolls now. I never saw the first Trolls.
I don't know if they're
I know
making
there's
a
a
sequel.
second one coming out.
There is. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Um.
They don't. Illumination is not owned by them, right? Like they're not.
No, no, no.
Okay, so I don't know.
Yeah, I watch a Prince of Egypt sequel. Just bring back the entire team because that movie's also a masterpiece. And I mean, there's still like all the Moses stories, like the Golden Calf and other stuff. There's more to Moses' story than just
Yeah,
escaping Egypt, I guess.
I had that
I
movie on
watched that. Oh, but
VHS.
okay, no. My most like the one DreamWorks movie I always wanted a sequel for is The Road to El Dorado. That
Oh,
movie. Oh my god, they could have just gone to like I don't know, Asia or somewhere in Africa or Antarctica or Alaska. Like they could go
nope.
anywhere. Those characters are so good. Tulio and Miguel. Oh my god, they're
You'll never
like
get it because you want it. This is how I feel like studios are. Like they'll give you things that are close to what you want because they'll keep like dangling what you want like by like threads.
oh yeah.
And maybe if we're lucky, we'll get
I
it.
watch a series about these characters. Like I
I
love those
would love a
characters so much.
cartoon off of those characters. That'd be great. Like, um, just I don't know.
But yeah,
I think this movie actually has a show spinoff too, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, a couple of them I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're talking about How
Oh
to
wait,
Train Your
we
Dragon.
forgot Madagascar. That's the other big
Is
DreamWorks.
there 3 or 4 of those movies?
I think they're making a fourth one.
Isn't the first one like the highest earning animated movie of all time, or like
I'm
it
pretty sure that's
was or something?
Frozen.
Well, like I think before it was. And Frozen
I,
was 5 years ago. I didn't even know this. Like I looked this up and I was like, what? This again. I'm like the past. What the heck? But yeah, like gosh, oh my god. But yeah. I mean, this movie. Like I hope it does well because honestly, I would love sequels with older Hiccup, and like
oh, he looks so sexy.
yeah, it would be cool because he seems like. But the problem is like they can't keep doing the same like people want to kill dragon thing because we all basically veered into spoilers, but like the movie kind of ends with Jay Baruchel or whatever saying that like basically the people of Burke are keepers of the dragon's secret, like where their whereabouts or that they even exist at all. And the problem is like I don't know how the rest of the world forgot because like it's been like 10 years since like okay, so the movie has a time jump and
For the very last scene,
yeah, which I actually like the last scene a lot.
just because you
Like
saw cute Night Fury babies.
yes, cute Night Fury babies. But like I don't know, it's just like
I
I,
mean,
I want to see
okay.
him
What
do
I
stuff
liked
as
about
adult
that
Hiccup.
the ending is like the fact that it mirrors their meeting. Like
Oh
how
yeah, no,
like
that
he's
was cute.
reaching
Yeah,
out for it. So like, oh, that's really pretty.
yeah,
But I don't know. I feel like
it was full circle, but like
yeah, it went full circle. But I guess I would have preferred like a really old Hiccup, like a grandpa Hiccup, like reuniting with
yeah.
like a grandpa, toothless. I don't know.
You ever
Like,
seen that like the Family Guy thing where it's like Peter saves the life of this goldfish and then like he's like they'll
oh
protect.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you do whatever you have to do to get that this man like something like that
Yeah, I
like
remember that.
Hiccup shows up or no what's his name Toothless shows up on Hiccup's deathbed or something like he can just sense that he's dying or something I don't know
Yeah, I would have liked something more like oh, I don't know.
I,
It felt too happy, I guess. And
yeah
this move like this franchise, like yeah, they all have relatively happy endings, but like I don't know, like I felt like they taught really important lessons to kids
yeah
through like pain, hardship, and sacrifice. And this movie is like the one like even the sacrifice of letting go of all the dragons, like it's kind of taken away when they reunite.
I will so I never when you see them split up I was like yeah I guess he belongs in a different world but I never for a second thought like that this was the end and
Yo, yeah, like imagine like
yeah
like we get a futuristic sequel called How to Train Your Dragon 2049.
I would love it because if it's anything as good as Blade Runner 2049 is, then I don't know. That's like that's one of the things where like I always say like that that movie is just like so wild that it was made because I don't think they thought it was gonna make money. Like I think they wanted it to, but like deep down, I think that they knew that like there's not that many like diehard Blade Runner fans. Like
There's plenty, but
but
like
not that many. Like to make because that was like what it was like a $200 million budget movie or something like that, or
180, I think. Yeah.
they were not, and they had to market it, and like so it's probably like a 360 like almost $400 million movie basically, and like I hope it makes its money back and like sort of I bought it as soon as I could, but like I don't it's just you can't give enough money to movies like that, and
I feel like
like
this movie's gonna be relatively successful.
there's nothing else like out right now. I
I
think
mean, there's the Lego movie and there's Alita, and
Alita is not
Captain
gonna bite
Marvel
into
is like
this.
around the corner.
You're right actually,
Like
but
I hope, like I don't know, because this seems like such a passion project. Um,
I
10
think
years in the making or even more.
it'll do well with I think the Lego movie because I think like I've been trying to think more about the Lego movie too, and I think it's better the more I think about it, but I need to watch it one more time, I think. And this movie I think also would actually get better with the second viewing for
Yeah,
me.
this movie's probably worth the rewatch just because it's so gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, like I can't say it. Like if you have, I don't know, like 2 hours to kill, like just go be visually just stunned for you see this in IMAX, like I mean it's so worth it. I regret not seeing Alita in IMAX, but like I don't think I can bring myself to watch that movie again. This one I could probably watch this like maybe one or two more times in theater and then like even on like Netflix or something like later down the road. Like I think it's rewatchable because it's a fun movie. I mean like
Oh yeah.
you're not I was never bored.
Oh no.
I was just hoping
Yeah.
for like I don't the second one caught me off guard like emotionally. Like I
Oh
was not
yeah.
expecting to
Yeah.
feel anything. And then it caught me and I was just crying. And this one I didn't
Honestly,
get
now
that.
that I think about it, all the DreamWorks sequels, like the second installment's always like the best. Shrek 2, that's the best one. Kung Fu Panda 2, that's the best one. Uh,
How to Train
I'm
Your
gonna say
Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 is probably the best one in their franchise. I don't know about Madagascar.
I like the first one a lot actually.
Yeah, I think the
Have,
first one may be better than the second one.
have you seen the Penguin spin-off movie?
I haven't actually.
It's not bad. Like I think it's actually really funny.
I mean, the
But
penguins are pretty fun.
they have a really smart like running joke in that movie. But I don't remember Madagascar 2 very well. I don't think I even saw it.
When they went to Africa and they meet Alex's father.
Yeah, no.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
but whatever. Like this movie, go see it. It's worth your time.
Yeah.
I swear.
Honestly, go see it a lot because I want a sequel to this.
It's like they advertise as the epic conclusion. I don't think we're gonna get a sequel.
But what have they done that with? They said
Toy
this,
Story 3
no, this is like
coming
a,
out this. Well,
This-
just like Shrek Forever After or whatever. That
Oh,
movie's
yeah.
supposed to come out this year. No trailers, and they're gonna prove me wrong. And tomorrow, a trailer's gonna drop.
I would laugh.
I
So
would
hard,
laugh
but
so bad. Like that
they-
means.
But they do that with franchises where they say this is the end, this is the end, and then like people keep buying it, and they're like, oh, well, then maybe not. And like, I'm trying to think of another example, like, because there was one that was really egregious, like, and I can't remember what can't remember what I think it was. God, I won't remember. If I'll remember it, I'll say it next time. But like, all I could say is, this is a pretty
Oh,
solid.
Indiana Jones. But I mean, you probably were never that.
Are they
into
making
Indiana
a
Jones.
sixth one or fifth one?
Fifth one?
They're
Yeah.
making. Oh, they are. Forgot about that. Oh my god.
I mean, there's a lot of franchises like that. It's like, we swear this is the last time. Like, Fast and Furious.
That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. Fast and Furious, and I love Fast and Furious. I may hate on a lot of movies, but it's because you're trying to be something you're not. And Fast and Furious, I'll say one thing: they have never tried to be anything than what they actually are. And like, even when they're sort of trying to be like cool or edgy, like I don't care because for whatever reason, those movies just feel so right to me. Like I can watch one once and be happy with it and never watch it again. But I actually own like 5, 6, and 7, and I have no regrets. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I own 6, 7, and 8. I need to get 5 because 5 is awesome, and those movies have only gotten slightly better. And I'm actually really excited for the spin-off, the Hobbs and I don't remember Jason Statham, but it's I don't know. Those movies have, for whatever reason, they just have me. Like I will ride or die Yeah, I miss you, Paul. I cried so hard at Seven. Like, dude, I didn't see Seven in theater actually, and I bought it on Blu-ray at Black Friday, and I saw it like as soon as I came home, and this was like months after that song had came out and like everything, and I was just crying alone in my like in an upstairs living room, just like, why, like why, Paul, like oh my god. And that it caught me so bad. Like, and I had to go to my sister, and she had to like console me. She's like, "It's okay, it's okay." I'm like, "I don't even know why I'm crying." God, I'm like, I might start crying again. Holy crap, I miss Paul Walker so much. Like, God, why? Oh God, please don't cry. But God, I can feel it.
Well,
God,
How
I
to
miss
Train Your
Paul.
Dragon: The Hidden World. Big recommendation for
I
both of
miss you,
us.
Paul. Please watch How to Train Your Dragon 3.
And
So
buy all the movies in
yeah,
Blu-ray because they're not available anywhere. I think the second one is in FX now or something.
it was on Netflix.
It's
The
not
second one,
anymore.
yeah, that's actually where I first saw it, and I was
Ah.
at home in my bed watching on my phone, crying while holding this stupid little phone. But yeah, like please watch it so we can get a fourth one with old Hiccup, old Toothless, where they maybe don't even do any training. Maybe they just go to
There's
on
not a
vac-
whole lot of training in
There's no training
these
left.
movies,
He
like
could train
whatsoever.
his kids.
Maybe.
Hiccup has babies. Uh, so I don't know, but yeah, I mean, so let's get to our recommendations. Would you recommend this to anyone?
I mean, yeah, but like
Yeah,
whether they take my recommendation or not, probably they like not everyone will. Like I know people who just hate animated movies, or
and you're wrong if you do.
yeah, you're wrong if you don't like animation. Uh, you can quote me on that.
Yeah,
Um, I recommend this to anyone who likes. Well, if you've seen the other two movies, you're gonna like it. I don't even feel like you need to watch the other two movies to enjoy this movie. Like it just looks so good, and
yeah,
you catch on pretty on. Like for being a franchise, each one's pretty standalone-ish.
yeah. Because
I don't
there's
think like they don't really build on each other in like a
they,
plot way. Like
yeah,
it's more of a thematic build up, I
yeah.
think.
I think it's you get the sense that there's been a lot of character growth off screen, like between the movies. A lot has changed, like at least time wise, and like what the characters are doing or what they look like, or like you. There's growth whenever you're not there. But I would recommend this movie.
To people with pets.
Sure, honestly, I'd say everyone go watch it. Like it's good enough. I think for you to spend your money on. I don't like. I wouldn't say that about Alita or like I don't. There's so many movies where I'm just like, God, like if I didn't have like AMC A list, I don't think I would pay to see this movie. Like, 'cause
Okay,
I don't know.
not this movie. He's
No, watch and pay for How to Train Dragon
yeah, yeah.
3.
He just meant this movie
I meant
as
like
a
in general.
metaphorical, you know.
Yeah, like there are some movies where I'm just like, why do they want us to spend money on this? Like, what were they thinking? And this movie, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, is not one of those movies. So go spend your money on it. I guess I don't know what movie we'll review next. Maybe A Dog's Purpose 2 or
I
something.
think it's called A Dog's Journey.
Yep.
Let's watch Wonder Park, or Secret Life of Pets 2, or the Angry Birds movie 2,
Or the Ugly Dolls.
or
I'll
Ugly
go watch
Dolls,
the Ugly Dolls. I mean, I'll see that. I don't know. It looks awful, but whatever.
or Missing Link. I don't know. There's a lot of movies coming out
I
sometime.
can't wait for April. April is gonna be the best month for everything. There's Game of Thrones. There's Shazam.
Endgame.
There's Endgame. There's Neon Genesis Evangelion on Netflix.
Oh.
There's One Punch Man season 2. There's My Hero Academia season 4,
No, that's
3.
October.
They pushed it.
Yeah, I pushed it.
God, no. Okay. But I think Attack.
April is officially ruined.
It is. I think Attack on Titan comes back. I
I
think
think so.
in April.
Probably Handmaid's Tale season 3.
Yeah, and there's one more thing that just came out in for April. I can't remember exactly, but there's April's like a stacked month cinematically and for TV also. Like, and then we got the NBA playoffs coming up too, which I know y'all don't really care about, but they're amazing. Trying to think, but yeah, I guess we'll let y'all know maybe on concessions and confessions next week whenever we talk about I don't know anything else. But other than that, I guess we'll catch y'all later. No.
Watch the movie.
Yeah, please go see it. It's beautiful.
Bye.
Catch you later.